I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ango Show. We are live. It is October 22nd, 2024. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Today we're talking about WWE Raw. Obviously, we're going to talk about some other stuff as well. And yeah, I don't know. I was looking at the chat. A lot of people are saying that they're not getting notified from YouTube about the live shows, which is quite frustrating, because I have noticed that YouTube has been acting a little bit weird. Now, I did talk to partner support, so just for some clarification, YouTube is making some changes within like the back system of the platform itself, and obviously I expect a couple bugs. You know, they're making some changes to their short system, and you know, basically what I was told was, hey, for the next 3 weeks, YouTube might be acting a little bit funny. So, with that being said, guys, you know we go live Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. usually. Obviously, there are some days where I can't stream, and obviously I let you guys know ahead of time. So just kind of keep that in mind. But for the most part, if you guys don't get notified of YouTube, check out the YouTube channel, see if I'm live. Or you can follow me on Twitter. If you're following me on Twitter, that's usually where I'm telling everybody come through. But it is weird because I do know that YouTube is not pushing out as much as they should. I mean, even this stream, for example, it's very weird. It's people are not getting notified or whatever, and it is what it is. It's the growing pains of being a content creator, but guys, I've been doing this shit since 2008. This happens all the time, and the show goes on. We're going to talk about WWE Raw. I thought WWE Raw was a great show. I thought this was one of the better 2-hour episodes that they've had. I felt like the pace and the storytelling was pretty damn good. So, yeah, that's obviously a good thing. If you guys want to support the stream, there's a couple ways to do so. Number one, obviously, being by liking the stream. And so if you guys haven't clicked the thumbs up on the stream, I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to monetarily help out the channel, you can go ahead and drop a super chat, become a member, gift memberships. Those are incredibly helpful. They are invested right back into the account, right back into the channel. So anytime you guys do that, and then just keep in mind, we do have a $5 TTS super chat activator. So if you super chat $5 or more, I automatically get cut off and your question and comment automatically gets read through an automated system. So if you guys want to support the channel, those are the ways to do so. Obviously, WWE Raw last night was good. Storytelling continues to be a consistent thing for WWE. You know, there was a lot of changes to Raw, and we will have to discuss some of those changes. I know people are asking about Lillian Garcia, so we will definitely do that as well. We will definitely talk about that, because that is a change. Yesterday, prior to WWE Raw, Samantha Irvin. So yeah, you know, prior to WWE Raw going on the air, Samantha Irvin had revealed that she was not going to be moving forward with the WWE. This obviously led to a lot of people being vocal on social media. Immediately, people thought, okay, she is going to AEW because of the fact that Ricochet is there. There's a couple developments here. So there's a couple things that you guys need to know. We're going to talk about the real reason why she's not staying in WWE. We're going to talk about her future plans. And we're going to talk about her replacement, which if you guys watch WWE Raw, her replacement was actually revealed. A lot of people may not know this, but it is a long-term thing. So first things first, Samantha Irvin is not going to AEW. Ricochet responded on Twitter in regards to this. Ricochet did confirm that Samantha Irvin is not coming to AEW. Now, can we trust Ricochet? I don't know. I guess only time will tell, right? The second thing is WWE had Lillian Garcia. Lillian Garcia was the ring announcer last night for WWE Raw. Now the reports have come out and it's been revealed that Lillian Garcia is actually going to be the full-time ring announcer for WWE Raw moving forward, which is fantastic news. Lillian Garcia, veteran WWE ring announcer. She left the WWE. Never thought we'd see her back in the WWE. And obviously this is a very, very good replacement. This isn't somebody new. She has that nostalgic voice. We're all very familiar with Lillian Garcia. And we'll talk a little bit about how she did last night on Raw, because I thought this was great. But there's a couple different conspiracy theories about what is happening here. And the first thing that I've noticed is that on social media, a lot of people genuinely believe that Samantha Irvin revealed to the WWE last minute that she was not re-signing with the company. Okay? That is not true. It's already been confirmed that Samantha Irvin let WWE, she let the WWE know months ago that she was not staying within the company. Okay? Also, what is the likelihood that last minute WWE would have been able to bring in Lillian Garcia? That is obviously not the case. Lillian Garcia had photos with fans being leaked prior to Raw going on, hours and hours before the show was even there. So at the end of the day, what people need to understand is that Lillian Garcia WWE was planning on bringing Lillian Garcia the minute that they found out Samantha Irvin was not staying with the company. So the real thing that you guys need to understand here, and I understand that there's some confusion, but the truth is Samantha Irvin did not do something unprofessional. She didn't go to WWE last minute and be like, fend for yourselves. That's the furthest from the truth. It was just revealed hours before WWE Raw And obviously that's why she was not in attendance for WWE Raw. That's why she was not ring announcing for WWE Raw. And that makes all the sense in the world. So not only is she not going to AEW, which seems to be a big misconception, but she did not give WWE a last minute notice. This was something that WWE did know about prior. And that's obviously why WWE had Lillian Garcia ready for her, ready for the spot to be the ring announcer. So listen, there's a couple things. Obviously, a lot of people are chit-chatting here. A lot of people are definitely like, the tribalism thing kicks in for sure. I know a lot of people think that immediately she's going to go to AEW. I understand a lot of people are always looking for a reason to paint a negative picture here. That doesn't actually appear to be the case, which is fine. And here's another thing that you guys need to understand, right? The third thing is, what is the real reason that Samantha Irvin is actually leaving the WWE? Because a lot of people are thinking it's some dramatic story or something like that, but Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez were talking about this. Lillian Garcia talked about this on her Instagram account, but basically all signs are pointing to is that Samantha Irvin wanted to go and do some stuff with music. And she wanted to go and pursue outside projects within the music industry, and WWE obviously would not allow that. And therefore, her and the WWE cannot come to terms with this. Now, that's the real reason why she's not staying with the company. It doesn't mean anything bad happened, especially when you look at what everybody has said about her. It's all been relatively positive. It's all been relatively great things. I haven't seen one negative remark made about Samantha Irvin. I haven't seen one person say that she's she's not a class act or whatever. And if you read her statement that she put out, it was very obvious that Samantha Irvin, she took the high, respectful approach. She took the right approach. She thanked everybody, cameramen, security, these people, that people. Like, she did a really good job on her way out. I don't believe for a second, if whatever happens with her music career, if it doesn't pan out or whatever the case may be, if it doesn't go her way, I don't find ourselves in a situation where Samantha Irvin wouldn't be welcome back in the WWE. There's nothing that indicates that this was sour, or this was bad or anything, which is a good thing, which is a fantastic thing, because I do think a lot of times people do typically, they kind of burn themselves in the foot when they leave a company or whatever it may be. So it is true that she is going to pursue outside projects outside of wrestling. It is true that the music career is a big thing. Lillian Garcia even did an Instagram post or whatever, and she even wished her great success and great luck pursuing her music career. So that's the real reason why Samantha Irvin is no longer in the WWE. I think that's a very fair, reasonable choice. I think she's a fantastic talent. She brought personality to people. Now let's talk about Lillian Garcia. Lillian Garcia did have a couple botches. Not that big of a deal. The IWC wants to, act harsh and be harsh critics, but they're sitting there from their computer or on their phone, they're typing away. The reality is Lillian Garcia's voice is nostalgic. When you hear Lillian Garcia's voice do ring announcing, especially when you see how she did things with Bron Breakker and Jey Uso, she makes things feel like a big must-see event. And, my two favorite ring announcers, honestly, in WWE history has been Lillian Garcia and Samantha Irvin. So I thought she did fine. Yeah, she had a little, a couple botches or whatever it may be. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. And the great thing here is it was her first day back. It's her first day on the job. I mean, people are going to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So this really isn't that big of an ordeal. It's really not that bad of an issue. It's not really a big thing. I'm not really necessarily worried about this by any means. I think it's a good thing for professional wrestling to have changes and to have botches while undergoing a major change, because I think people are underestimating how major of a change it is. It's a major change. Somebody's the voice of your show and she's leaving and you have a replacement. It takes time. We see this with commentary changes. We see this with ring announcer changes. The botches really don't matter. They definitely happen. And for those who are getting excited about Lillian Garcia back in the WWE, great. For those who are unhappy about Samantha Irvin, I think that's ridiculous. You should always be happy when other people chase their dreams. Usually the people who talk the most shit are the ones who are afraid to reach to chase their dreams. And that's why it's a funny situation. But yeah, Lillian Garcia is permanent, and we'll obviously see how that continues after this week. WWE Raw was a great episode. We're back to 2 hours. I feel like the 2 hour thing, I mean, I definitely prefer 3 hours. I can't wait for 3 hours. But WWE started off very fire. Very, very fire. WWE Raw kicked off. Everybody's making their way into the arena. Ron Breaker and everybody else is doing that. And I found it to be very fascinating when we see that Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed are going at it to begin the show. I love when the show opens with chaos. I love that this was a common theme throughout the night. Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. I mean, it just led to some really, really, really good moments. It led to some really significant moments. And you know what it really comes down to, guys? You know what it really comes down to? WWE has positioned themselves in a way where these guys are telling a story throughout the night, and WWE keeps hammering it into your head that these guys don't like each other. While telling this story, they are also telling a very good job of how Adam Pearce drafted a roster that is very, 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 very chaotic. And then, because of these actions and the storytelling component, it then leads to Adam Pearce later on in the night being fucking pissed off that he has to make the match official for Crown Jewel. And I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. These guys are going after each other all night. Bronson Reed goes for a tsunami on off the barricade. They're doing what they're doing to sell the match. It literally got to the point where chaos continues and continues, and Adam Pearce is like, no, I'm sick of this shit. We're doing the match at Crown Jewel. What I want to see is this. I want to see WWE offer a stipulation for this match, but I have a very strong feeling Seth Rollins, the king of trilogies, I have a very, very strong feeling that this is going to lead to more matches. But you could very well tell that WWE is planning things long term. You could very well understand that WWE has it figured out with Bronson Reed. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. We get a promo with Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. They're interrupted by Kairi Sane and Io Sky. We get a tag team match for them later on. We got the tag team #1 contenders tournament, the New Day versus Authors of Pain. Again, WWE consistently telling you the story of Xavier Woods potentially turning heel. Absolutely love the way they booked this match. Basically, what ends up happening here is that the New Day defeat AOP. Okay? However, we got the Final Testament being attacked by the Wyatt Six. Very, very good stuff right here. Very good stuff. What makes it really cool, there's a couple things I took away from this match. The Miz comes out ringside. The Wyatt Six take after him, but you don't see Uncle Howdy. Then you see Uncle Howdy get into the ring behind the Miz. They do a really good job of capturing this with the camera. But Paul Ellering pushes the Miz out of the way. And then Uncle Howdy gave him the mandible claw. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that's it for Paul Ellering on WWE television. That's my guess. I don't know. That's my guess. Now, why did I like this? Well, for one, The Miz. Do people remember when The Miz used to be the A-lister? You guys remember when he was Intercontinental Champion and he had the B team behind his back? Bo Dallas was behind his back. He used to be in his shadows. Y'all remember that? I like the idea of the Wyatt Six going after both The Miz, Final Testament. I like it. I thought this is great. I also like this for a third reason. A lot of people don't understand. At WrestleMania 39, it was originally supposed to be Bray Wyatt versus Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross told the story publicly about how there was plans for him to feud with Bray Wyatt. Obviously, Bray Wyatt unfortunately passed away. I feel like with this, there's a lot of cool layers they can do storytelling here. So I'm very excited to see what this leads to. Love it. And the last thing I loved about this, Kofi Kingston wanted to go back and help them after being attacked, but Xavier Woods stopped him. So again, they're continuing to tell the story, and this is just another little feud, another little story in the mid-card. It doesn't involve a title, just through consistent booking. There's a lot of good stuff there. I love R-Truth every time he's in the crowd. You know, every time he's there, he's also in the crowd. He gets big pop. So I like that too. We have a tag team match between Liv and Raquel versus Kairi Sane and Io Sky. The match gets thrown out because Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend get involved from ringside. Congrats to those ladies. They're all over main roster TV. I give them props. That's good. The tag team match was whatever. It's no contest. It is what it is. One of the good things I like, though, is that they did they did air a Raquel Rodriguez vignette. It was a very well produced vignette. It's her explaining her history with Rhea Ripley, which obviously there is a lot. And I mean, it goes back to what we were saying about AEW before. They can learn from WWE here. Maybe a lot of people forgot about Raquel's ties to Liv Morgan. Maybe a lot of people forgot about Raquel Rodriguez's history with Rhea Ripley. So that is something to keep in mind. Yeah, it's good. We get another tag team number one contenders tournament, LWO versus American Made. I'm torn on how I feel about this because I love Dragon Lee. I love Rey Mysterio. I don't know what the hell American Made are doing on Raw. Some weeks I feel like everything's good. Some weeks I'm just confused. But Mysterio and Dragon Lee end up winning. You know, Zelina Vega, everybody else is involved. Chad Gable's involved. Good match. Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio are fun. Next week, they will be competing in a triple threat number one contenders match. The War Raiders, The New Day, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee. And I'm going to assume the War Raiders are going to beat. I'm pretty positive the War Raiders are going to win. And they're eventually going to take the belts off the Judgment Day. That's what I'm thinking. But good stuff. We get some more backstage segments. We get a segment with Carlito and Adam Pearce. Definitely controversial. Controversial for sure. I don't even really want to talk about it. But you could tell throughout the night, there's definitely been some teases that Carlito is like not going to be part of the Judgment Day. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, we get Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso. Great match. Not shocked at all. Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. They had tickets. Obviously, this is all done for Jey Uso to have to come back to the Bloodline. I wish I could give you guys some really good insight on here, but I basically told you guys this was happening like forever ago. So, really hard to like break it down. It basically went down the way I expected. And that's the thing, man. Like, it was executed perfectly. But Solo Sikoa is so stupid. He's so stupid because Solo Sikoa, what he just did, he got involved with Jey Uso's business. When the Bloodline are all back together, it's going to be for some very, very good content. And that's where I get a little bit more intrigued. That's where the real stuff is happening. You know what I mean? So we'll see what it leads to. We know what it leads to, but we'll see how it transpires. Because you know WWE ain't going to give it to you like that. And I love this. This is a fantastic question. Azad Rasul says, Ango, do you think MCMG take the belts from GOD because of Jey? Yes. 100%. 100%. I think Jey is going to get his lick back. And I think it's going to lead to some really, really good television. Because I could see WWE doing this. You know, Jimmy's always ringside with the hoodie and the bandana, and he takes it off and he reveals himself. I could see Jey Uso stopping GOD from winning the match, and then to end SmackDown, revealing the bandana and mask and hoodie, and it's actually Jey Uso and not Jimmy. And that's going to shock everybody. It's going to shock Roman. It's going to shock Jimmy. It's going to shock everybody. I can see that happening. And if I was WWE, that's exactly what I would do, because that would be the right way to end an episode of SmackDown. MCMG get the belts. Listen, Motor City Machine Guns have to be champions. War Raiders have to be champions. You want to get the tag team division back on track? Get these factions away from the tag team titles, bro. Get them away from the tag team titles, please. Please. The storylines within these top two factions are far bigger than the tag team title division. Get those titles away from those factions. Let these other tag teams compete for the tag titles. All will be good. If Jey Uso costs GOD the belts, perfect. Perfect. Very interesting stuff, man. And you guys got to remember, Jey Uso now has an incentive to go after the Bloodline because they cost him his IC title. It's not even that he wants to do it for Roman or for Jimmy. He's going to do it for himself. And then eventually it will lead to the reunion. WWE is going to drag this out, bro. WWE is going to drag this out, but it's going to lead to some really, really, really good content. So for that, I'm excited about it. And for that, it made me excited about WWE Raw. I thought Raw was a fantastic episode. I still want it to be 3 hours. It will be 3 hours when it goes back to Netflix. But for the next 2-3 months or whatever, no, 2 months. For the next 2 months that we have left of the year, it is very clear we will see 2-hour episodes. And I feel like there's more to desire with 3 hours. And mark my words, we're going to see something crazy. When January 6th, WWE Raw debuts on Netflix, it's going to be chaos. And so whatever WWE is doing on Raw or SmackDown should lead to that. I think we'll get a lot of Bloodline. I think we'll get a lot of Jimmy and Jey and whatever it may be. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I thought 2 hours yesterday was a lot better than the previous 2-hour episodes, in my opinion. Some other things I want to discuss. I want to discuss a couple other things that have popped up in the world of wrestling. This one seems to be the thing that makes me intrigued. Chris Jericho's contract status with AEW. He's obviously been with AEW since 2019, since the company launched. People have their own personal opinions on Chris Jericho and whether or not they like Chris Jericho, that's fine. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of the learning tree stuff right now, but I will not disrespect Chris Jericho and what he's done for AEW, because he has done a lot of great things for AEW since leaving the WWE and going to AEW, helping them launch as a promotion, helping them become he was the inaugural world champion. Well, now we have a detail on his contract status. Ibu from Wrestle Purist has reported that Chris Jericho's current deal within AEW is up in 2025. And no injury time or anything has actually been added. They're not adding any time to Chris Jericho's contract. And it doesn't look like anything has been guaranteed for Chris Jericho to stay in the company or to leave the company. Nobody really knows what is happening here. So I want to talk about this with you guys. And I want to talk about it now. Here's the thing, guys. Chris Jericho, bound for WWE Hall of Fame. No matter what anybody says, I see Chris Jericho going to WWE. I see him being part of the Hall of Fame. I would go as far as saying, I know Chris Jericho speaks very highly of AEW. He understands the importance of AEW. But I have always believed that Chris Jericho wanted to be there from the start. And I don't think he necessarily cares to be there till the end. I don't know Chris Jericho personally. I'm just coming up with this and speculating based on my own personal thoughts and my own observations. I can very well see Chris Jericho leaving AEW in 2025. First of all, it would actually make a lot of sense for Chris Jericho to leave AEW. AEW has grown significantly to the point where Chris Jericho is no longer needed. I think we can all agree on that. I think we can all agree that Chris Jericho leaving AEW makes sense. Like, AEW needed Chris Jericho in the beginning. It was very important when you're shopping TV deals in the beginning. Hey, we have Chris Jericho, a future WWE Hall of Famer, a former champion. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I can understand, I could see with Chris Jericho leaving the company. They needed him in the beginning. They don't necessarily need him now. Now, as far as Chris Jericho wrestling for the WWE, I don't necessarily see that being the case either. I don't. Truly, I do not see that being the case. And also, this is nothing against Chris Jericho, but I think Chris Jericho has been oversaturated in AEW. Constantly in a faction, constantly in a storyline, constantly taking up TV time. Then you got the learning tree. You had the stuff with Hook. Constant. I think AEW's audience has actually grown sick of Chris Jericho. So Chris Jericho going to WWE is actually not that far-fetched. The reality is, I don't think Chris Jericho would go to WWE and be booked as a full-time performer. I do not see Triple H prioritizing Chris Jericho over Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, or whatever it may be. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Chris Jericho could re-sign with AEW, stay with AEW, be a producer, be an agent, be an ambassador for AEW. Very much like Sting is, right? Sting just signed a Legends deal. Chris Jericho could very well do the same thing with AEW. He could work part-time and then have like a full-time position backstage, right? But the truth is, Chris Jericho could also go to WWE and do the same thing. And if Chris Jericho is interested I can see WWE even offering Chris Jericho a little bit of a spot in the development of those in NXT. I don't think it is as far-fetched as people think. If AEW needed Chris Jericho to survive, I think Chris Jericho would choose AEW. I have come to the belief, I've come to the understanding that AEW does not necessarily need Chris Jericho. So in my humble opinion, in 2025, when Chris Jericho's contract expires, if there's no added time, I'm just saying, don't be shocked to find out that maybe he goes to WWE. Don't be shocked. And if Chris Jericho returns to WWE, I don't expect him to be full-time, so you shouldn't either. And let's just say what it is. A lot of people in AEW, I've said it earlier in this video, a lot of people in AEW have outgrown Chris Jericho. The fan base in a weird way is kind of turned on Chris Jericho. Because that's what AEW's fan base does. They turn on a lot of people. They do. That's fine. Turn on Chris Jericho all you want. But just remember, when this company was trying to get off the ground, they absolutely needed him. And thankfully, AEW, as we have all seen, there's not one individual performer that helps AEW's ratings or attendance. And that is proof that they don't necessarily need him. So if Chris Jericho goes to WWE, I have no issue with it. If Chris Jericho stays in AEW, I have no issue with it. I think sometimes people look at Chris Jericho's political beliefs and they use that as a way to turn on him as well. You guys know how I feel about that. I'm judging a TV show. I'm judging professional wrestlers. I'm not judging them on their political beliefs. They have the freedom to believe what they want to believe. That's their right. They have that ability. But I'm not going to turn on Chris Jericho. Even though I don't mess with the learning tree gimmick, I'm not going to turn on Chris Jericho. It was absolutely incredibly important to the development of AEW. Should he leave AEW, there will be a lot of people in WWE that can learn from Chris Jericho. A great performer. He understood the business. He's a veteran. And no matter what, I do believe he gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And maybe it all happens in Las Vegas. We did get a super chat from Darth Bane for $1.99. He says, does the Bloodline stuff end after War Games? Absolutely not, my friend. The Bloodline stuff, it's not going to end for like another 2-3 years, brother. It's definitely not going to end for another 2-3 years. It's just not. Just not going to happen. I think you're going to see something very, very big happen at the end of War Games. That will be another seed planted for the future of the Bloodline storyline. For sure. Do Chris and CM Punk have issues? They could. But they don't got to work together. They could keep them separate. Or, you know, Chris Jericho and CM Punk could just squash their beef. Right? It just depends. That's the beauty of it. Darth Bane, thank you for your super chat, bro. Appreciate it. Guys, we're going to end the stream a little bit earlier today. It is 12:45. We have NXT tonight. being that it's a 2-hour episode of Raw, there's actually less to talk about, which makes it intriguing. But we're ending the stream early, letting you guys know Thursday I will not be live on the channel doing the Ango show. I will be at the TNA Bound for Glory press conference. And I will be there Saturday and Sunday for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And I will be there for the TNA Impact tapings. I am working media this weekend. If you guys are going to be at Bound for Glory, come say what up. And Thursday, I will not be live. This week actually might be a little bit of a weird week for live streaming because there's a lot of work and preparation that has to go into the press conference stuff. So I will keep you guys updated. With that being said, I appreciate you all being here and coming through. Like I said, I know YouTube is being freaking incredibly weird. It is what it is. They're undergoing changes, so there is definitely going to be some bugs and some glitches and some issues. So if you're not following me on Twitter, TikTok, Discord, you might be missing out on some of those updates. But nonetheless, the show continues. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Ango show. I appreciate you all. And I'll see you tomorrow.